Right, we about to start this new moon, new year, right? New beginnings, right? The Most High God brought us through another year of captivity, another year passed by, right? In this captivity, that means we're another year closer to the kingdom of heaven. God?
God.
So let's start off with the trumpets blowing, man. All praises to the Most High God. Hallelujah.
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 We're going to open up with the Lord's Prayer in the Paleo Hebrew. Then we can repeat it, right, in the English tongue, right? And this reads thus and so. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Batazaka, Haya, Aisha, Rataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Taranawa, Lakam, Call your one, Salak Nawa, Amen. Lord's Prayer in the English. Want to read it?
This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 8. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen. Shema. Yasharala. Yahweh is one Lord, our Lord, and none else. O Yahweh, thou now will continue to bless us, Please, O Yahweh, always keep the Holy Spirit on us, O Yahweh, as we serve you. Let us be your providers to the children of Israel, their laws, statutes, and commandments, their way, their light out of darkness. O Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua, continue to strengthen the body of HOI and all the sincere camps out there to continue in the word in this new year, O Yahweh, and be your auspicious of men, and be your gatherers of grapes, and be your warriors on the front line, O Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Kahala,
Kahala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Kahala,
Kahala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Kahala,
Kahala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Amen.
Amen.
God. Gracious. Hey, I'm going to Clubhouse too, just to let you know.
All right.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
I'm going to Clubhouse too, yeah.
Khan. Shalom, Yasharallah. We are back again to bring out the new moon in the first year of the new moon, the month of Bid. The month of Bid is very important because the month of Bid also dictates the new year, the rest of the feast days for the rest of the year, and the Passover. So it's a very important new moon. It's a very important month because without that first month, all your other feast days will be messed up, and you'll be unable to calculate the rest of the feast days without knowing the first month. Right. So first we're going to go to Psalms 104 verse 19.
Psalms 104 verse 19.
Kind of just to reiterate one thing, that the new moon is the dark moon. It's dark right now. We're in waning gibbous. Right. We're on waning gibbous right now. And there's so many scriptures to show you the very importance. It's at 0.1 on the new moon right now. So today's the new moon, and tomorrow will also be the new moon, because the new moon is for 2 days. So tonight and tomorrow. So this evening is the beginning of the new moon because it's at its full. It's at 0.1. You can see. Right. So we're at the 29th day, or pretty much the last day of the month. So if you could bring out Psalms 104 verse 19 for me.
This is the book of Psalms, verse 1, chapter 104, verse 19. And he appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his goings down.
Right, so the Most High appointed the moon for its seasons, right? Even the sun for its going down. The Most High uses the moon for the months and the seasons. And he also uses the sun for days to allocate how many days it is. Right. And we can go further in the scriptures to also prove that.
And that's that balance, right? He used the moon for months and the sun for days, right? That's that Proverbs 11:1, a false balance is an abomination. A lot of y'all rely too much on the moon. You think the moon is counts for the days and the months, and that is leading you towards idolatry.
It will cause complete problems when you deal with the moon calculating the month and the days.
You say that again. What did you just say?
I said that the balance of it is that the moon calculates the month and the sun calculates the days, right? Okay. That's the balance of the Most High God. Proverbs 11:1, a false balance is an abomination. A lot of our brothers and sisters, they lean too much on the moon and forget the sun completely. You understand? Okay. So right? So that leans on idolatry when it comes to the moon.
Okay.
It's clear even when you go into the first chapter of Genesis that the first day deals with the evening when the sun goes down. The sun doesn't change the phase at all. You don't have to look at the sun being a full moon. You have to look at there's only one word for the sun, and that's Shemesh. Right. Now, when you deal with new moon, full moon, there's two words. There's half moon and there's full moon. I think there's new moon. So there's 3 different Hebrew words for the moon. Right. So when you're dealing with the day, it's very easy to calculate the days and then you'll have a very hard problem. I don't even know how you calculate days by, or lunar days. I don't even know how you'll be able to calculate that. Somebody get me Sirach 43 and verse 6, and somebody get me Job 25 verse 5. It's all throughout the scriptures that the Most High uses the moon specifically for seasons. So when he uses the moon for seasons, you have to understand that he's doing it in a cycle, because the moon goes through cycles.
Right.
So you have the dark moon. Another way to know how the new moon is the new month is because the 14th day for Passover is a full moon.
Right.
And they'll let you know that. So that means 14 days back, what's that? A new moon. It's a dark moon.
Right.
So that means by the time Passover happens, the moon is half full. So that means 14 days prior, it was the beginning of the month.
Right.
So now you have the new moon symbolizing the month of Abib, which correlates with the Passover. So you have to know the new moon, or how to calculate the new moon, in order to understand when Passover is going to happen. So 14 days from today, 2 Shabbats, that means we're going to have what? Passover. Passover is going to be on the 14th of Thursday.
Yeah.
Right? So 14 days from now. Bring out that Sirach 43 and 6.
This is the book of Sirach, 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season.
Now hold that. So you made the moon to also serve in her season. That means she has a specific season. Her season is what? New Year. Month of Abib, Passover, which is also spring. Right? So the New Year is not in December. Right? So the New Year is going to always be spring, or what I would say, a wheat or harvest season. If you ever go through the Zondervan Bible Dictionary and you read this, if you ever look at months, the month of Abib or first month, it's going to say new moon, wheat, harvest season. December is not a harvest season. Everything is dead. You can't harvest no grain. You can't harvest no wheat. None of that. Because everything's dead. Where are you going to get your wine? Where are you going to get your unleavened bread?
Right.
In December for the Passover? It completely makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Like, this is why, if you calculate the feast days, and your feast days come off in the wrong season, that means you got to recalculate them. Right? Because like you said, how could you have the Passover in the dead of winter? Right? Is there going to be wheat growing for the unleavened bread? Is there going to be enough livestock for the lamb? Is there going to be fresh grapes for the wine? Right? So these type of things, they have to come along in season. That's why the month of Abib always falls around the springtime. Right? Not the winter, spring.
It says the month of Abib, when I was looking at it earlier, falls around April or March. In between those two. All right, keep going on that Sirach 45. It's like at 43.
Okay, slide. For a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
So now it's saying for a declaration for time. So when you have something, you declare something, that means the month or the new moon declares that time. We can go into that definition of declaration, right? When somebody declares something, it's like they state or make a statute. Because we know the Most High deals with commandments, statutes, laws, and judgments. So we're looking at declaration. Right, declaration, a formal or explicit statement or announcement.
Right.
A formal announcement of beginning of a state or condition. So the moon is a formal announcement of a state or a condition. So when you look at the new moon, that announces a new month.
Right.
So month, when you look at it, it'll be like the 14th month, the 7th month, the 4th month. When you look at those new moons, they announce a new month or a new feast day.
Right.
Right, you keep going on that up.
Verse 7. From the moon is the sign of feast.
So from the moon is the sign of feast. It's just clear and cut in Sirach. It just gives it all straight to you. But sometimes you have to go and look in between the lines in the Old Testament and the law to kind of give you a little glimpse of how they calculated these things. But it tells you right here, the moon is the sign of the feast. Right? Give me, actually keep going on that.
Yeah, keep going.
A light that decreaseth in her perfection.
Now, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Now, when people think the moon is perfect, they'll be like, oh, when it decreaseth, it means it's a full moon. And now it's perfect. But when you decrease a light, right, because the moon is just a simple lesser light. When you decrease a light, that means it's nothing. So can you give me Job 25 and 5? And can somebody hold Jeremiah 31 and 35? So it's very important that you just literally look at certain allegories in the Bible that literally it gives it straight to you. Let's see what perfection of the moon is. And I believe Job 25 and 5 is going to give you a little hint of what it means for the moon to be perfect.
Okay.
What did you call for? Job what?
25.
You got it out?
Yeah, I already got it.
Okay.
Kind of bring it out that.
That's Jeremiah 31.
Okay. This is the book of Job, 25, verse 5. Behold, even to the moon, and it shineth not. Yea, the stars are not pure in his sight.
Now hold that. Read it from the beginning. Because sometimes you might miss what it says, right? Keep going.
Behold, even to the moon, and it shineth not.
So now it's saying, behold, even to the moon, though it shineth not. That means the moon is not shining. So watch how the Most High compares the moon being dark to the stars. Keep going.
Ye, the stars are not pure in his light. It's like in his sight.
So it said, yea, the stars are not pure in his sight. So even though the moon is dark, it's still the stars that are shining brighter than the moon is not pure in his sight. And it's for a reason, because the moon, the dark moon, is a declaration of the seasons, meaning that the dark moon is so important. Without it, we can't even be a people. Right? Can you bring me Jeremiah, was that 31?
31 and what?
35.
Okay, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 35.
Come.
Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night.
By night, right? So he even included the moon and the stars. But remember what Job said. Even though the moon is dark, the stars is not even close to the moon's purity. So keep going.
Which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. Verse 36. If those ordinances depart.
Now hold that. He said, if these ordinances depart, the sun, the moon, and the stars. Watch what the Most High says.
If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
why would the Lord say that if there's no sun, there's no moon, there's no stars, but mainly no sun and no moon, we can't be a people? Simple. You got no sun, you got no Shabbat. You got no moon, you got no new moon. You got no Passover. You got no Feast of Trumpets. You got no not Purim, Feast of Weeks.
Feast of Weeks.
You don't have none of that. You don't have Day of Atonement because you have to go by the month to figure out when these feast days are going to be. So if they go away, we can't be a people. That's how important the seasons of the month are. Got any precepts up?
Let me get Sirach. Let me get Ecclesiasticus 39 and 12. And I want you to pull up that verse in the Blue Letter Bible. This will show you that, yes, we calculate from the dark moon. Not the moon crest, right? Y'all be on that whole golden crest stuff, right? Like, this ain't beef patties over here, right? We do with the dark moon over here, right? Not the full moon. The full moon is the witch moon. And you wonder why people have different Passovers? They go by different moons, but these different moons are not according to the Bible. I'm going to show you that the new moon and the full moon are two different moons according to the scriptures. So you cannot mix them up. If you go into the Hebrew, if you go into our language, the Lashon Kodash, maybe your organization, maybe your congregation don't go into the Hebrew, but hey, where would you get the word Armageddon from if it wasn't for the Hebrew? Where would you get the word hallelujah? Tell them stop saying hallelujah because that's Hebrew.
Come.
Tell them don't read when Paul says Anathema Maranatha because that's Hebrew. Tell them don't read when Christ said Ela Ela Sabach Athanah because that's Hebrew. No, our ancestors spoke Hebrew, so yes, you do have to go into the Hebrew certain times to get clarity of a situation, right? But certain organizations say, oh, don't go into Hebrew, just say Jesus, just say English. But according to Sirach, right, we're going to get that too. According to Sirach, things are more powerful in the Hebrew tongue, right? So let's get that.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 12. Yet have I more to say, which I have thought upon.
He said, I have more to say than I have thought upon, right? Because he's like, my thoughts are overwhelming me right now. Read on.
For I am filled as the moon at the full.
He said, I am filled like the moon at the full. And then it say, I am filled like the moon at the new. No, because the difference between a new moon and a full moon. According to Sirach, who we just read about the ordinances of the moon in chapter 43.
Yes, chapter 43 and 6.
Right? We read about the ordinances in chapter 43, but he made a distinction over here in chapter 39. So how come your congregation ain't making this distinction between the full moon and the dark moon? Between the new moon and the full moon? Read that verse one more time, man.
The book of Sirach, 39, verse 12.
But I guess we don't know the Bible. The Most High ain't dealing with us. We don't know the Bible. The Most High ain't dealing with us. But we go by the right moon. We go by the first, the first thing the Most High created in the ordinances of the heavens, man. The moon, the stars, and the sun. And the new moon is the dark moon. The full moon is full of light. Unless the full moon means it's full of darkness. Is that what they want to tell me? But the Most High ain't dealing with us, right? Matter of fact, read that verse again. Read it again.
It's the book of Sirach, 39 and 12. Yet have I more to say, which I have thought upon.
Go ask your fake shepherd what this means, man. Read on.
For I am filled as the moon at the full.
Because we are filled as the moon at the full moon. Some of y'all like a real full moon, like you took down your pants because you made an ass out of yourself. When you said that the Most High God ain't dealing with us, man. You that type of full moon right now. You know what I'm saying? When you moon somebody, these guys just made an ass out of themselves, man. Now go in the blue letter. What is the word for moon there, King?
In that chapter?
Yeah. Sirach.
I got the blue letter, but the blue letter doesn't give me the apocrypha.
So the blue letter didn't give you the apocrypha.
No, it's not giving me the apocrypha. See if I can get it online.
Yeah, get it online then. Right, because we're going to show you that the new moon written in the law is different from the full moon that it says in the apocrypha. Matter of fact, what is the Hebrew word for new?
Oh, Chodesh.
Chadash, right?
Yeah, Chodesh.
Chadash, right? What is the Hebrew word for full?
Chasar.
Chasar. So there's a difference between Chadash and Chasar. But you wouldn't know that because you don't really study these scriptures, man.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think Psalms 83 would be good to go into to also prove. I can't find it.
But if they think that it's not important for you to go into the Hebrew, I want you to read this for me out in the Apocrypha. Read this part right here. Okay. This is the prologue of Ecclesiasticus, right? This is what Sirach is saying. So you're not even going to really understand the Apocrypha. These guys don't read the Apocrypha. You're not even going to understand the Apocrypha if you don't go into the Hebrew sometimes. Because the writer of the Apocrypha said this. Read that.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them.
The things that are uttered in Hebrew but translated to another tongue like English,
Right.
this bastard language, right, has not the same force. Oh, these guys don't read the Apocrypha. You ever know this book, Sirach? You ever go into this book? Yes. Have you gone to the book? Have you read the instructions in the prologue of Sirach? But you deny the Hebrew tongue? Let's not get it twisted, man. Salakia, King. Read that one more time, right? It's hard to digest. It's hard to digest, man. All that truth is hard to digest.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew, we don't need that Hebrew. We just go into the English. Say his name is Jesus, right? Read on.
And translated into Salaki. And translated into another tongue.
Into another tongue, another language, right? Read on.
Have not the same force in them.
They have not the same force in them, man. Right? So yeah, according to Sirach, there's a difference between what? A full moon and a new moon. And the new moon is not the full moon. Right? Step your game up, man. That's all I wanted to go into, King.
God, I can't read something. But this is Psalms. It's going to show you the same thing as Psalms
83. It says
81.
81, yeah. It says blow the trumpet in the new moon. That's talking about the full moon at the Passover. Don't think we don't know the Bible. Brothers got to watch their mouth. Brothers got to watch their mouth. Psalms 81.
God, this is Psalms chapter 81, verse 3. Blow at the time of the new moon, the trumpet at the full moon, on day our solemn feast. That's what it says in the Hebrew, but this is what it says in the KJV. Mm-hmm. This is Psalms 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day. If you go here,
but read on. What is the solemn feast day is talking about?
For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for the testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt where I heard a language that I understood not.
You see that this one was in the land of Egypt. We had to march our armies out of the land of Egypt. Just talking about the Passover. Read on.
I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. Thou callest in trouble, and I delivered thee.
You see that? When he called us, we called him when we was in trouble. He delivered us out of the land of Egypt. Because this psalm, it goes into the feast days, but it goes into this part, into the Passover, right? The Passover season, you should know these type of scriptures. Read on.
I answered thee in the secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah. Selah.
Selah. Right? That's it on that?
Gone.
All praises to the Most High, man.
So you can see that this is talking about the Passover and us going into the wilderness, because the Most High, the only time it was being tested by Meribah is when Moses cracked the rock at Meribah.
Right.
So if you look here in Psalms 81, verse 3, you can see where it says, blow up the trumpet at the time of the new moon. Right here where it says new moon, we're going to click right here, which is Strong's 23 and 20. It says Chadash. Chadesh in the Yiddish, or Chadash in the Paleo Hebrew. So that means new moon, right? When you blow up the trumpet is in the new moon, right? New month, a month. But let's see what it says about the full moon. Right here, it says Chasar, Chasar, meaning full moon. So it's two different moons. We got 3 different moon cycles. But you'll see where people will fight and argue us to death, because we're just talking about this.
Right.
The Passover is on a what? A full moon.
Passover's on a full moon.
The new month is on what? A dark moon. A dark moon. It's that simple. 14 days later. If you can't understand that through Psalms 81, through the scriptures that we keep giving you, then that's just, when you really go into somebody who knows Hebrew or a biblical scholar, you are going to be decimated.
You're going to be decimated. They're going to cut you to shreds.
So stay in English if you want to.
Yeah, but the scriptures say, study to show thyself approved.
I mean, you're an Israelite, but you don't speak.
Yeah, you're an Israelite, but you don't speak Hebrew.
But we the laughing stock, right?
I don't know, man. The Most High ain't dealing with us or something, right?
Apparently, right?
Apparently.
Can somebody give me the letter Jeremiah 1:61? That's an apocrypha. The letter Jeremiah 1:61. It's apocrypha. So an apocrypha,
I got you.
the letter Jeremiah. You'll see it's the letters that Jeremiah has sent during the time of Babylon. And you'll get that in the Apocrypha.
Right, at 12 o'clock, I'm going to wish y'all a happy April Fool's Day.
A happy April Fool's Day. And you know, I went in and I was talking to Chief about that, man.
No father.
The reason why they was making fun of people on April Fools is because they couldn't get the calendar right. They called them an April Fool because they couldn't get the date right. But then people get mad at us saying that we have the date wrong, but then they're going to celebrate their date on April Fools. So,
and no, we don't go by the Gregorian calendar, right? We don't go by the Gregorian calendar. We go by the Hebrew calendar, real Hebrew calendar, where the month is calculated, right, by the moon, and the days are calculated by the sun.
Okay, you got that letter of Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Come bring it out.
This is the book of letter of Jeremiah 1, verse 61. In like manner, the lightning, when it breaketh forth, is easy to be seen. And after the same manner, the wind bloweth in every country.
Kind of keep going.
62. And when God commanded the clouds to go over the whole world, they do as they are bidden. Verse 63. and the fire sent from above to consume hills and woods, do it as it is commanded.
So like you hop to give me 60. Give me 1 and 66. If it's not it, then it's not it.
Okay, come. Verse 66. For they can neither curse nor bless kings.
Okay, Khan, that's not what I want. Get
I
Ken.
think you want to verse
67.
67.
Yeah, Khan, 67.
Verse 67. Neither can they shew signs in the heavens among the heathens, nor shine as the sun, nor give light as the moon.
Khan, so signs in the heaven as the sun and as the moon. To reiterate that the sun and the moon is a sign for feasts, ordinances. They're very important. Can somebody give me Exodus 13 and 4? Exodus 13 and 4. Can somebody give me Exodus 23 and 15?
I got 23 and 15.
Khan. So we can go over all day and night about the new moon being the new moon crescent, the crescent moon, or the full moon, or the half moon, or the dark moon. We sticking with the new moon as the dark moon.
13.
Exodus 13 and 4. All right, Khan, bring it out.
This is the book of Exodus.
Exodus.
Slot.
That's southern.
Khan.
13 and 4. This day came ye out in the month of Abib.
So this day came us out in a month of Abib, right? That day was the 14th day. So that 14th day was Passover, but that month, which we already proved, that new moon, those 14 days prior, was a dark moon. Right. So 14 days later, on a month of Abib, which is the first month, which is between March or April, is a feast or a harvesting month where you can harvest grain, where you can get wine, you can get food. You can't do that in the dark. You can't do that in the other seasons, right? It's impossible in those ancient times to have Passover dead in the winter.
Right.
Right. You can't go by the Gregorian calendar. Can you bring that out? Keep going.
Verse 5. And it shall be when the Lord shall bring thee into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and
The Hivites.
and the Hittites and the Jebusites, which he swore unto thy fathers to give thee.
So during Passover was also the time that the Most High swore and promised Israel that he would lead them out of Egypt into what? The land of milk and honey. The land of the Canaanites. So those two things synchronize: Passover, deliverance, and the blessing or the promise of the kingdom. Those things always synchronize. Drop that. Give me Exodus 23 and 15.
All right. This is Exodus chapter 23 and verse 15. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty.
So it's the same way we showed you in Psalms 81 and 3. The Most High brought us out of Egypt, and he dedicated this feast day for us to keep, to remember our deliverance and the promise of the kingdom. So they go hand in hand, and it's on the first month of Abib. So today is a celebration of the month of Abib, or the start of the month of Abib. Keep going.
God. Verse 16. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field.
So the feast of ingathering, which is around the end of the year. Why?
The tabernacles.
Is around that time to start harvesting fruit, gathering corn, gathering grain. To prove what? This is not around the time where it's snow outside or it's winter, it's cold. You can't see no types of plants, no trees, no vegetation. This is clearly a time where you can gather fruit, corn, grain. You can farm. You got grapes where you can crush wine. This is around that time, right? We're gonna get your precept out. I think it's what Song of Solomon 2 and 12.
Yeah, Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11 and 12.
Come on. Song of Solomon chapter 2, verse 11 and 12.
I'm there.
You there?
All right, come on, bring it out.
This is the book of Songs of Solomon. Verse 2, Salaki, chapter 2, verse 11. Starting 11?
Come on.
Okay. For lo, the winter is past.
The what?
The winter is past.
The winter is past. Right? You get the beginning of your year once the winter has passed. Right? Read on.
The rain is over and gone.
The what?
The rain is over and gone.
Right? Was what? The spring
Springtime.
showers, spring, right? Made flowers, right? Right? The rain is over and gone. So this is a process. First the winter has to stop. Then the rain falls. Now the rain is gone. Now read on.
Verse 12. The flowers appear.
The what?
The flowers appear.
Come on now, man. You got to be one with the Most High God's greatest creation, which is the earth. I mean, the children of Israel. You know what I'm saying? He made the earth for our sake, so we are greater than the earth. But still, we you know what I'm saying? We have to be one with the earth. That's why the scriptures in Revelation say Yahweh is going to destroy them that destroy the earth.
That's right.
Because he made the earth for our sake. We're supposed to be in tune with the earth. Right? We ain't supposed to be like Esau up in the caves in the damn it's a caucus coffins he got up there, man. We dealing with the life of the earth, man. Read that again from the top, King Bo-Kashaw.
Verse 11. For lo, the winter is past.
The winter is past. Read on.
The rain is over and
The
gone.
rain is over and gone. See that process, right? We all knew that growing up, right? Read on.
Verse 12. The flowers appear.
The what?
The flowers
The
appear.
flowers appear now, man. That's how you know we enter into the spring, a bib, you know, right? Summertime coming, and then you're gonna get the first fruits. Read on.
On the earth, the time of the singing of birds is come.
The what?
The time of the singing of birds is come.
And everything is Genesis all over again.
Right.
The grass hill, the fruit comes off the trees.
Whole process.
The birds come, everything. The book of Genesis chapter 1 happens all over again every spring. That is the beginning of your year. Not the dead cold of winter. Right, not January 1st and everybody outside, like, Happy New Year. That is not the new year. Y'all wildin'. Read on.
And the voice of the turtle is heard.
The what?
And the voice of the turtle is heard.
Right, we ain't talking about those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We talking about the real animal life coming out, like in Genesis. Read on.
In our land.
In our land, man. Right, that's it on that.
God, you know, and you understand Solomon understood what? Solomon understood the ordinance of the stars, the moon, the sun, the plants, the animals. He understood all that, and one thing he understood was spring is new and winter is old. He understood that. Also, birds fly south during winter. They don't come back until spring.
Right.
Yeah.
So he understood, okay, when everything is awake and stuff come back and everything is renewed, that means it's something new.
Absolutely, King.
Right? Can somebody get me Exodus 34 and 18 and Ezekiel 46 and 1?
Khan Salakia, just to let me back what you brought out. You can find that scripture in Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 17, what Yanya was just talking about. Solomon having the knowledge of certain things in creation and how things work on the earth.
That was Wisdom of Solomon?
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter
Yes.
7, verse 17.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon, the Apocrypha. Right here in the chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, you can bring it out real quick, then it can go back to the teaching,
Okay.
just to add to what he brought out.
Note that down. Okay, I got you right here. Okay. Ready?
Yeah, bring it out.
All right. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17. For he have given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements.
Read on.
Verse 18, the beginning, ending, and midst of times, and alterations of the turning of the sun, and the changing of seasons.
See that? I mean, he goes on to that, but we can yield so Yanya can go ahead. But it talks a little bit more about that if you read on, but that's it.
It's a great chapter to read. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. That whole chapter's fire.
Khan, it is.
That whole chapter fire.
Because if you don't understand nature, you don't understand time. And when you understand the definition of the word, namely, it means to be specific. So he's saying that he got the knowledge from the Most High to be specific, to know the beginning of time and the end of time. So it's very easy to see. Y'all got that Exodus 34 and 18 and Ezekiel 46 and 1?
I'll get Ezekiel 46 and 1.
You said 34 and 18?
Con. Exodus chapter 34, verse 18.
Go.
Coming out up.
This is the book of Exodus, 34 and 18. The feast of unleavened bread shalt thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, as I commanded thee, in the time of the month of Abib. For in the month of Abib thou camest out from Egypt.
So the Most High continues to reiterate to us that on the month of Abib, which is the first month of the year, right? The Most High is Most High is a mastermind. Like he could have delivered us out of the winter.
Right.
He could have delivered us in the middle of the year. But he said, I want this to be something new. Once you come out of Egypt, you got freedom and you're going to be a new nation.
Right.
And it's going to be the start of a new year. Everything was new. You got a new covenant, a new year, you got a new nation. Everything was new. The Most High is a mastermind when he does certain
Everything was new.
Everything was new. New leadership, new priesthood,
New structure.
Everything was new.
New life.
Everything. You know, so the Most High he's a mastermind. He doesn't do stuff by accident. Or perhaps he knew that, okay, like when Moses, like if you read in history, because I remember Priest Daniela coming out about this, like the deliverance of Israel had to be at a different, like from a long time span. And the Most High chose a specific day to deliver us, because he said he hardened Pharaoh's heart in Romans the 9th chapter.
Right.
He said, I purposely told Pharaoh not to let you go, made him hate you and want to oppress you more. But on this day, on this new year, I'm gonna make him let you go.
Right.
Because the Most High lines up stuff like that. It's never on our time, but the Most High time.
That's right.
That's why Moses didn't understand. He was like, you told me when I went to Pharaoh, he gonna hearken to me. It wasn't that time yet because it wasn't the new year. So it's the same thing. Just like we want to force the Most High to bring in the end time so we can have a new year or a new kingdom. The Most High a long, long time ago told us, yo, I'm going to give you the kingdom. I'm going to deliver you. You're going to go through captivity, but I'm going to send my son again to deliver you out of Babylon. But it's a specific time when I'm going to deliver you. And we in those times. We in the times of that miry clay and iron right now. We at the bottom of the foot. It's almost over. They heard that 2,000 years ago. Moses heard that years before, maybe months before, and I believe it's years, because when he killed the Egyptian and fled, he killed the Egyptian, fled for years, got married, and had a kid. That had to be at least a year to 9 months before, at least before Israel got free. At least a year to 9 months. He wasn't going to hide a couple of days like he just murdered somebody. So salvation, it takes time. It was in the wilderness. It took 40 years. It took time. So that patience and waiting on the Most High is very important. That's why he gave us feast days, high holy days, to also strengthen us to remember that even though we waiting on that very same day, we can go back and look back when the Most High always came back and what? Delivered us and kept his promise. The Passover is like a prelude to the new coming of the Most High. The Most High Son and the kingdom. It's just like a prelude to that. Okay, you don't see the new kingdom. You don't see the kingdom of heaven yet. But guess what? You can go back in Exodus and read about when they went into the kingdom and how long that took. But he still did what? Kept his promise.
Right.
So bring out that Exodus 34 and 18. Or did you already read that?
No, I'm reading it right now. Bring that out.
Come on.
34 and 18?
Yeah, 31 and 18. Go ahead, Ak. You got it.
Okay. This book of Exodus 34 and 18. The feast of unleavened bread shall thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, as I commanded thee, in the time of the month of Abib. For in the month of Abib thou camest out of Egypt.
Come on, read verse 19.
Verse 19. All that opened the matrix is mine, and every firstling among thy cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male.
So you got to look at this as well. That's very important, because sometimes you hear that and be like, oh, well, that's a whole different subject. When do you see animals mate? In the spring. Animals have a mating season, right?
Yeah.
They don't just mate in the winter. They hibernate in the winter. They surviving in the winter.
Right.
They ain't worry about kids.
National Geographic, yeah.
Yeah, National Geographic. Right, what you go with that? It's simple. Like when you read the Bible,
Thing swing,
they got a season to that, man. They got a season to that. So you're like, yo, on this time when it's spring, not winter, not when it's dark, when these animals start to mate with each other, it ain't cold, it's hot, it's the right conditions and climates for new children, new plants, new foliage. Because guess what? If they got cattle, new sheep, new calves, they gotta graze on that ground. They gotta have fruit, foliage. They gotta have straw. All these things is not growing in winter.
Right.
So the Most High just don't say, oh, everything in the matrix right after that, you gotta give it to me. He knows after Passover, it ain't winter no more.
Right.
So can you drop that? Give me Ezekiel 46 and 1.
46 and 1.
Come on.
All right. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 46 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Thus saith the Lord God, the gate of the inner court that looketh towards the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be opened, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened.
Right.
So on the Sabbath and on the day of the new moon, the gates are going to be open. Keep going.
Khan, verse 2. And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the post of the gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate.
So the Most High has it set up on these days, the Shabbat, the new moon, and these feast days. What are we supposed to be doing? Worshiping. Going to the gate of the Most High. And sometimes we look at the Most High's gate and door, but we understand who's the way and the path to the Most High.
Khan,
Right.
Hamashiach. He's the door. He's the gate.
Right.
Khan.
So now we got to go towards that gate, or towards the door, or the way, which is Hamashiach now. Even more harder. So we got to come together and congregate and also include Christ always in this thing, because without him, we wouldn't even know who we were.
That's right.
We didn't know our customs. We want to know the feast days. We want to know none of these deep, dark sayings brothers love to read. Because at the end of the day, Hamashiach led the way. And he's still in the kingdom, because he's going to be that same prince. He's still in the kingdom. Guess where he at? He had the door.
Right.
He had the door. The prince, who was Hamashiach, is where? At the door.
Khan.
Because guess what? He got to greet you to go in. Because without him opening that door, where can't you go?
That's right.
Can't go in the temple to worship the Most High. That's it.
Khan.
You try to go any other way, you look like a robber.
That's right.
That's it. He says, I am the way, and I'm the truth. I'm the light.
Right.
You always got to give credence and glory to the Most High. Even without the New Testament, it shows that Hamashiach is what? The way.
That's right.
He that doorway. If you don't go through him, you don't go through that prince, you can't do no sacrifices to the Lord, can't praise the Lord, can't congregate amongst the Lord, can't be around the priest. You got to go towards that prince. Right, keep going.
I wish I got a vouch for you.
Khan.
You got to vouch.
Khan. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening.
Right, so the gate shall not be shut into the evening. The evening is what? A new day.
Right.
Right, that's why we celebrate in the new moon that evening, even though the new moon is 2 days when you look at it. This evening and then tomorrow evening, guess what? The new moon's over. It's a new day.
Right.
Because the Most High does stuff by what? The sun.
Khan.
Right, keep going.
Verse 3. Likewise the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Lord in the Sabbath and in the new moon.
Keep going.
Verse 4. And the burnt offerings that the prince shall offer unto the Lord in the Sabbath day shall be 6 lambs without blemish, and a ram without blemish.
So we see 6 lambs without blemish and a ram without blemish. Right, 7 animals. Most High is always dealing with the number 7, completion, a holy number. So you're gonna cut and kill clean animals. Same thing on the Passover, clean animals. On the new moon, you can do a bullock as well. But right here, you see that he does 7 lambs and a ram. Keep going.
Khan. Verse 5. And the meat offering shall be an heifer for a ram, and the meat offering for the lambs as he shall be able to give, and him of oil to an ephah.
Right, so a hymn of oil to ephah. He's going back into that same sacrificial priesthood. So right now we under the grace of the Most High for giving his son to us and covering us in his blood. He's the ultimate sacrifice. But when we back in the kingdom, these other nations and Israel will be given the Most High his credence and his due again.
That's right.
Right? What verse you on?
Verse 6.
Keep going.
Verse 6. And in the day of the new moon it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs, and a ram they shall be without blemish.
Con, so it's never, ever more or less than what? 7. Meaning completion. Most High's always dealt with numbers. Always dealt with numbers, man. Beautiful. Right. Drop that. Get me Ezekiel 45 and 21. And somebody give me Numbers 33 and 3. See, the Most High always symbolizes certain things or how things are going to be ordered, ordained, structured. So it's very important to always look back at how things are going to work and be organized in the kingdom. Because we, to the best of our ability, we got to replicate that. Or we got to rehearse the righteous acts is close to how it's stated as possible. So, who has Ezekiel?
What do you want? Ezekiel 45 and 21 first? Khan, it's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 45 and verse 21. In the first month, in the 14th day of the month, ye shall have the Passover. A feast of 7 days, unleavened bread shall be eaten.
So the Most High shows it the same way. The first month, and then 7 days for the unleavened bread, the same unleavened bread that you're going to eat on the spring during the springtime. So it doesn't change. And Ezekiel, his vision is of the new kingdom. It don't change. When the Most High said, my statue is going to be forever, it don't change. Passover don't change. The laws don't change. The dress code don't change. The Shabbat don't change. Nothing changes. Right, keep going.
God, verse 22. And upon that day shall the prince prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bullock for his sin offering.
Right, keep going.
Verse 23. And 7 days of the feast he shall prepare a burnt offering to the Lord, 7 bullocks and 7 rams, without blemish daily, the 7 days, and a kid of a goat daily for a sin offering.
So that's what he would do on a Passover. Each day being sanctified by what? A sacrifice. Every single day. A sacrifice for all the days of unleavened bread. Because Passover is just a day beginning the whole feast of unleavened bread.
Right.
So I've seen that before. People get Passover mixed up with unleavened bread. But it's just the same thing. One scripture might say unleavened bread. The other scripture might say Passover. But it's simple. They go hand in hand together.
Right.
Keep going.
Khan, verse 24. And he shall prepare a meat offering of an ephah for a bullock, and an ephah for a ram, and a hin of oil for an ephah.
God, you can drop that. Give me Numbers 33 and 3.
You got that one up?
Yeah.
God.
And give me Exodus 12 and 1.
All right, I got you on that.
This is the book of Numbers, 33 and verse 3. And they departed from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow after the Passover.
So it says, they departed from Ramses on the first month, on the 15th day, on the Passover of the first month. So we know any month, 15 days at the beginning of the month, it keeps reiterating. That's going to be a full moon.
Khan.
Right? You can bring that Exodus 12 out.
Khan. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
So this month is very important because it's not just the beginning of 1 month and okay, this one feast day, that's it. It's the beginning of all the other months. So that means we can calculate the rest of the year
Khan.
Off of that month.
off
For
of
that
this
month.
1 month. So if any of your other days or months is against the month of a bid, you're not doing something right.
That's right.
From a bib to a dog.
All right.
Straight like that.
Just like that. If you have Passover, the rest of your year should be calculated already.
Right.
Because it's that easy, right? Keep going.
It tells you right here, Khan. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
So they would take a lamb for our house, the house of their fathers, right? So everybody will grab a lamb for each person. So based off how many people's in your house, you'll get as much lamb you need. Keep going.
Verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
Right.
So that means if you got too much, then you got to go and you got to split it with what? Your brother.
Right.
Got to make sure that they partake in the Passover.
That's right.
Right, keep going.
Verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
Right, you know, Elder Zabak always bring this out. He said what goats was cheaper than sheep back then.
Right.
Always said goats was cheaper than sheep back then. The Most High even was looking out for the people who were poor and lowly, who couldn't
afford a sheep.
afford a lamb. Right, so you can take it from a goat.
Get that goat.
Just like in Ezekiel where it said the ram and the 6 lambs. That ram is the ram is a male.
Okay.
So you can get a goat in there for the Passover, right? Keep going.
Verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month.
Now, up all the way to what? The 14th day of the same month. Keep going.
And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Right.
So you find all these lambs, you gather them together, and on the 14th day at evening, so that means, you know, the 14th at night, that's when you cut and kill the lamb because what?
It's about to be the feast.
It's about to be the feast. Keep going.
Verse 7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door post of the houses, wherein they shall eat it.
So that's how we kept Passover back then. We'll strike all this blood on our doorposts, our houses, or temples. Spiritually, we understand they put that blood on their temples or our houses because we know that the temple that we have now is what? You know, our bodies. So that blood that we put on our bodies now is what? A Mashiach. But in ancient times, they took a literal lamb, took the blood, and they took hyssop, and they put it on the 2 corners and the top. I mean, the arm, and your head, your crown. Right, drop that. Give me Deuteronomy 16:1.
Don't bring that out. Bring that out.
So it's so much symbolism in Passover. So much importance in a vid. It's very important to always know how to calculate the feast days because this day is going to calculate the rest of the year. And trust me, as soon as I think it was like 3-4 months ago, we was talking about Passover, and I was like, yo, the Passover going to be on April 13th or 14th. That quick, because I already knew the new moons or what moon and date it was going to be. And guess what? April 13th or 14th, because I already understood how the feast days are kept. All right, bring that out, Doc.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
So it says what?
Observe
the month of Abib.
So the Most High reiterated in Deuteronomy again, observe the month of Abib. Keep going.
And keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
So before the Most High got us out of Egypt by night. So remember that the Most High always shows us. When people say evening, you got people saying evening, it's like, oh, it's dusk and the sun is still kind of up. It said what? By what? By night.
By night.
By night. the end of a new day is what? Nighttime.
Con.
So when he says that 14th day, you seen in Exodus, the 12th chapter, it says the 15th day. Then it'll say the 14th day at evening. That means the 14th day at what? At night. So it's
It's the next day.
no confusion. No, I don't know what it is. Somebody told me it's dusk.
Con.
It's dusk. It's a little orange outside. It's simple.
God.
By night. There's so many doctrines going on right now. It's crazy. Right. I done seen so many doctrines go on. Well, but that's the end of my lesson. Sharp Park, if you got any precepts you want to bring out?
Got a couple more.
Come.
Got a couple more. Not much. Let me get Hosea 6 and 3. Hosea 6 and 3. Let me get Zechariah 10 and 1. Just to reiterate that we lining up with the seasons, and this is the new year according to the Bible, right? And our Passover's coming up in 14 days. Hey. Feel like Willie bouncing,
God.
right?
Excited, man.
You got it, Hosea?
Yes.
Bring that out.
This is the book of Hosea, 6 and 3.
Right?
Then shall we know, if we follow on to know the Lord. His going forth is prepared as the morning.
His going is prepared as the what?
As the morning.
As the morning. Read on.
And he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and former rain,
As the what?
as the latter and former rain.
Right? We gotta know when he's coming. He's coming as the morning, day by day. He comes with what? The rain and the latter rain and the former rain, right? Read on.
Unto the earth.
Unto what?
Unto the earth.
Right, he flourishes the earth, man. Read on.
Verse 4. O Ephraim, what shall I do unto thee? O Judah, what shall I do unto thee? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew, it is and as the early dew, it goeth away.
Right, because that's how the earth was nourished with moisture first, with the dew.
That's right.
And that happens more what? The spring.
Yeah.
Right? So now let me get Zechariah. Zechariah 10 and 1.
This is Zechariah chapter 10, verse 1. Ask ye of the Lord, rain in the time of the latter rain.
Right? Rain in the time of the latter rain. Read on.
So the Lord shall make bright clouds.
You shall make what?
Bright clouds.
You shall make bright clouds. Read on.
And give them showers of rain.
And give them what?
Showers of rain.
That's how you know we entered into the new year. The winter's gone. That rain start falling. Right? Read on.
To everyone grass in the field. For the idols have spoken vanity.
Right?
And divinators have seen a lie.
Because what? The Most High gotta have it rain on you and have it flourish your grass in your field while these damn idolaters, man, they waiting for the new year in the winter.
Also, that's deep because back then, you know, they do sacrifices and pray to all these different gods like Esther,
Right.
and Asherah, and be like, "Oh, it's gonna rain," and the Most High be like, "It ain't raining today." Or it's not gonna rain. I'm stop the rain in the rain.
That's the same thing Yahweh doing to these forecasters, man. They only get that weather right half the time, barely. You know what I'm saying?
They said it was not gonna rain yesterday, and it rained.
It rained. So, you know. Let me just get one more. All right. Psalms 104.
All right, when we done, real quick while you're getting that, at Clubhouse, if you guys have any questions, also on Facebook and YouTube. If you got any questions, just raise your hand in Clubhouse. Raise your hand and come up to the stage, and you can present your question in regards to the topic or any other questions that you might have. All right. If you on YouTube, go ahead and just type it in on the chat, and we'll read it out, and Most High willing respond to that. All right. Go ahead, Ak, you got it.
Psalms 104 and what?
You want to start at verse 10.
This is Psalms chapter 104, verse 10. He sendeth the springs into the valleys, which run along the hills.
Right? The spring and the water hit the valleys and it runs along the hills. Read on.
They gave drink to every beast of the field.
They did what?
They gave
Drink to every beast of the field.
It's the beginning of the year. Now the beasts of the field, they're coming out of hibernation and they
God.
gotta get drink, right? You know they thirsty. You ever sleep a long time, you wake up, your mouth all, you know what I'm saying? It's all dry. Right? Hold on. Right. Read on.
The wild asses quench their thirst.
The wild asses quench their thirst. Read on.
By them shall the fowls of heaven have their habitation,
And now the fowls of heaven, they get some sip on too. Read on.
which sing along the branches.
Read.
He watereth the hills from his chambers.
He watereth the hills from his chambers, man. Yahweh controls these seasons.
That's
Read on.
right.
The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works.
And now the earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works, man. Is there more on that?
Time.
Read on.
He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle.
He does what?
He causes the grass to grow for the cattle.
All this is happening around springtime. It's Genesis all over again.
God.
The grass is made and the cattle comes to eat it, man. What they call it in Lion King? The circle of life, right?
God.
Read on.
He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, and a herb for the service of men.
And the herb for the service of
God.
men, man. Right? So the men get the what? Because every herb for meat.
God.
That's back in Genesis, man.
That's right.
Every herb for meat. So yeah, the herb for the service of men. Listen on that.
God. Well, it says that he may bring forth food out of the earth.
And now you
right.
get for food out of the earth when you till what? For the first fruits.
God.
Well, that shows you the process of how the Most High God set up the seasons, man. And with that, that's it. I yield, man. Yeah.
Khan. Yeah, so if you on Clubhouse, if you have any questions in regard to the lesson, raise your hand and come up to the stage. All right. We're going to try to do this every feast days, Most High willing, so we can, feed the flock and basically answer questions, okay? Because I know sometimes y'all be having questions about these feast days and want to get understanding on certain things. All right. This is a great opportunity to do that. Also, if you're on YouTube, you can do the same. We're going to give you guys a couple of minutes to do so. If not, we're going to wrap things up. And we're going to catch you on the next one. All right.
We're going to have a good time. Some new
Good. Good. All praises.
Right. If y'all on Clubhouse, man, y'all come and congregate next time, man. Right?
God.
I'm going to save a glass of wine for you. Glass of that yayan.
God.
Roundabout, we have one that Morgan David.
Yeah, Morgan David.
All praises.
Man.
Morgan David.
Yeah. The M dog, that mad dog.
God.
Well, that is wow.
No question.
No questions?
No questions.
We're going to wrap it up, man.
Gone.
Wrap it up, man.
And look, let's see.
Chief just pulled into
The late bud.
God.
Yeah, somebody got to tell Ephraim he can't be on Judah time, man. That's not his trial, right?
He's not supposed to be doing that, man. That's Judah.
All right. So we gotta come on time like Benjamin. Kwab Yasharala.
Fireworks.
Yeah, I should have brought some
I
fireworks.
thought about it.
Yeah, God.
God, Happy New Year, man.
Right, yeah.
Happy New Year,
That's
man.
what it is. Happy New Year.
Yeah, yes, sir.
It's all New Year.
This is the best part. This here is the best part.
Oh, fireworks. You got the fireworks with him, man.
God,
Look, this is from the last new moon. Out with the old and with the new. Something like that join up, man. Big good. Oh man, that was just like a thumb. God damn, this Negro over just around the top. They want to challenge me. I'm going to break it and bring it down, man.
Well, I lost some weight, huh?
Yeah, man, goddamn. Hey, this for your daughter.
Con. All right, Israel, we're gonna pray out.
For my baggage and yeah, that's all.
Oh, this up. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the oil? Yeah.
Yo, who got the lighter? Light that joint, man.
Just give me the light. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
All right, Israel, shalom.
I need you today.
Yeah.
We're gonna walk around the corner. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna do 30 minutes, but I need you to put it in 15 minutes and cut, chop, screw, and all that.
You wanna do a video?
Yes, sir.
Okay, con. Let me
Give me 15 minutes on Instagram. I ain't gonna do YouTube one. I ain't gonna do the whole rebuttal. I already got it. You know what I'm saying? Deacon, stop reaching.
God,
You know what I'm saying? Y'all ready? Let me get one. Move.
God.